Okay, so I'm back out on the Mercury today. The last time I'd left off, I had just put the engine in here. And what I've been doing for the last day and a half is just trying to sort through the wiring. It's a real rat's nest. And I'm dealing with the existing wiring that was on the straight 6, but a lot of the stuff can be reused. There's basically 2 harnesses that come through the firewall. And I've basically traced out, I don't want to say every single wire, but just about. The lower cluster here, this is mainly all for lights. And now, the eyeballs are hanging out. Because I got a battery, I got some battery cables. I got a relay for the starter. I got the starter, that's the old starter that Rock Auto sent me, the used core, but works. So for now, until they send me the new one, that's what I'm using, and it does turn the engine over. I got a coil and a brand new distributor, breaker point style. So, starting at the battery, I just wanted to kind of see what I had with the car, what was working, what wasn't. Most everything is not working. I did have the headlights working, so I was quite excited about that. I had the headlights working. And this is the switch for the headlights. And it's got the rheostat and everything was fine. I was pulling this in and out. And the headlights were coming on, and then at one point I pulled this out. I pulled out, the lights came on, and the whole thing came out. So I don't know. Now the lights won't come on. But this light switch is all part and parcel of this fuse block. And that goes right behind here. So I'm going to order one of these from Eckler's. It's going to take forever to get, but I will order a whole new one because I think, you can't really open this, I don't think, to try to... I mean, this was working. This was perfect until the last time that I was playing with the lights, off, on, rheostat. Beautiful, and then this came out. No lights. So anyway, I'm going to order one of these. That's okay. I finally got the key switch figured out, and I've been reading this wiring diagram for the last day and a half. It was practically haunting me. I was wiring this as if this was a 1962 Mercury Comet, because, well, that's what this is. But this is not. This is not. I had an old one for the car specifically, but the key tumbler was missing. So somebody at one point would have put this in, and it's not quite wired up the way that the Ford one was. So it took me quite a while, I'm not going to lie. But right now, I traced all the wires through the firewall. I've got battery coming in. I've got ignition, and I've got the... the ignition is the wire that goes to the relay to engage the starter. So this is all working now. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. But if I turn the key, you'll see I'm on... The starter spins over. Job done there. So happy about that. The radio doesn't work. Don't care. The cigar lighter doesn't work. Minor detail. I got a Canadian Tire one there for $10 if I ever wanted one. Probably won't. The blower works. So the blower fan works. It even works in 2 speeds. I don't know if you can hear that one. That's low speed. And high speed. Sounds like crap, but it works. High speed. Low speed, off. I'm not going to have, there's a lever here for the heat. This is going to be a summer car. I'm not even putting in, there is a heater core. I don't even plan on hooking that up. My lights do work. I just need to get a new switch. And my ignition, which is going to go in this hole here, my ignition works with a key, and this is not a This is not a proper Ford tumbler, but it is a tumbler that works, and there is a key, so I'll be able to run this car with a key, so I'm just going to go with that. Signal lights, well, none of this is going to work for sure. And the rest is all dash gauges and lights, and once I get a good 12 volt in here, I can just hack through this and keep what I want, keep what I don't want. If any of the gauges don't work, I can always just buy a little set of aftermarket gauges and mount them underneath there. That's what everybody does anyway. So that's that. Now, the other little bit of good news is that once I get the engine to roll over, I went and got the distributor, the coil and everything, and I just took one wire, one plug, and I laid it on here just to see if I would have any fire. And I do. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to turn the light off so I can see, and I'm going to try to film that again to see if I have spark again. Let's try this. Okay, I see spark. So, we have a starter that spins. We have spark. We got a coil. We're all set here. We're all set. I am going to, right now, I'm going to put some oil in this engine. I'm going to figure out this firing order and maybe get some more plugs and wires. And of course, I mean, I'm not exactly ready to run here because I don't even have a distributor I don't even have a carburetor on here yet or nothing, but kind of getting there slowly but surely. It looks like a real rat's nest. I'm well aware. And I mean, it doesn't just look like a rat nest. It is a rat's nest, but it kind of, if you break it down one section at a time, you know, I was following the dreaded pink. Where does the dreaded pink go? Well, the pink's at the ignition. So once you come through the firewall, you see that it splits up. One goes to this side of the relay, and the other one feeds the negative of the coil. And then the negative of the coil comes to the distributor. And you just break it down. You just break it down little by little. And then you got your, your battery's grounded. Your positive comes on this side of the relay. It's got to be able to jump across to the other side to feed the starter. So that's where this little wire comes in. And it is brown, and the wiring diagram indicated that it was brown. So when I followed this all the way back to the firewall, it changes color on the inside, and I was able to follow that all the way down. All good to go. So slowly but surely, now I'm not out of the woods yet by any means with this engine, because the bell housing is touching the firewall. The mounts are as far forward as they can be. I might have to do some shimming. I'm not sure. It's a tight fit. Now, apparently this can be done. It's not going to be done overnight. This is a pretty big job. But anyway, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to figure out this firing order, put some oil in this engine, and maybe try to set the distributor so I get the distributor to fire at the right timing. I mean, it's one thing to have a spark, but it's got to be sparking at the right time, the right place. So, okay, I'm going to leave it here for now, and do a little bit more research on this firing order and try to get some a little more of this electrical progressed. Okay, that's all for now. Okay, so it's the next day. Yesterday I checked, I turned the engine over and I confirmed I had spark with all my new components. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have to try to figure out the timing on this. Now, I do know my firing order, or I think I know my firing order. A 302 has two firing orders. 137265548 is for the newer and the 351s, and the 1542638 is supposed to be more for the old school engines. This is for 289s and 302s, the earlier years. Now, this being a 1972 block, I'm going to go with the firing order of the old school one. But I mean, God knows this would have been, this has more modern heads on it, and it was probably rebuilt at some time. So I'm not even 100% sure. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my number 1 cylinder, and I see it looks like, by judging this, it looks like both intake and exhaust valves are closed. So I'm going to go around again. I'm going to put my finger in the spark plug hole, or put a screwdriver or something in there, and I'm going to turn the engine, try to confirm that I'm on the compression stroke of number 1, and I'm going to bring it up as close as I can to top dead center. Now, number 1. So when it's at top dead center, that means that number 1 spark plug is supposed to fire. So right now the pointer is over here, which I don't know, or like, I'm not sure if this matters or not. Like, I could put the cap on like this, and I could then maybe call this one number 1 since it's already lined up. But I don't know if this is proper. Most caps that I've owned in the past, or that I've bought, or that I've seen, always have a number 1 marked on here. And this one does not. It really doesn't. I mean, my eyesight is not 100%, and I'm wearing glasses, but I do not see a number 1. So, maybe it doesn't matter. Most of the times your number 1, they like to, I like when well, obviously the vacuum advance has to be in here somewhere. And you do have quite a bit of play. But most of what I've read and I've seen, a lot of the caps, the number 1 is sort of opposite of the vacuum advance somewhere, somehow. So I don't know if I should take this out and rotate it and stick it back in, or if I should just go ahead and call this my number 1 position. I don't see how that would matter. This is a pretty symmetrical piece of kit, as long as the wires reach. So maybe I'll just try to, since I've got this in place, maybe I will just call this number 1. Because what I've done in the past is I put these in, and then I roll the engine, and once it starts to catch, then it gives you an idea if you need to advance or retard. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to bother to look for a mark or a pointer down there. There's absolutely nothing. I'm not even looking. I'm going to bring this piston up. This is number 1. So these are on a 302. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe I'll just call this number 1 if this is indeed correct. And I'll wire this up. And of course, I don't have a carburetor on there, but I don't know if I could put the carburetor on, or maybe I'll just pour gas down there and it'll still make its way into the, or maybe a little bit of starting fluid. Just if I can see that if it lights up, then I'm in the vicinity. If not, then I got to keep playing with this. And sometimes you got to pick it up once you go all the way. You got to sort of pick it up and bring it back, and then play in that range. So this is what I'm going to play with this morning. I would love it if it fired up. No guarantees it will at all, but that's what I'm going to try right now. Okay, well, I got my distributor in place. I went with where my pointer landed. So my number 1 is kind of over here, not opposite like what I'd said, but I don't think it matters. I got my firing order. I got the old school firing order. I don't even have a carburetor on, and I've been squirting some liquid, some quick start, and she did fire up for a split second. Try that again. I think I may be on the right track here. Let's just see. See if it'll do it again. Okay. She wants to light up. So I think what I'm going to do now is, obviously there's a million things left to do with this thing, but I would like to hear this run. So obviously, I know I have spark. My timing is probably not 100%, but I can I can play with that. I could always pick this up and turn it until I find the sweet spot. I think for now I'm going to dig out the carburetor. I'm going to mount this on here, and I'll keep plugging away here, and I'll maybe try this with some gasoline. Let's see if I can get this fired up. It'd be kind of nice to hear it. It lit up momentarily, and there's a lot of smoke in here, so it's a good sign. Now I can't really run this engine. If it does, I mean, I'll be ecstatic if it lights up, but the transmission's not even really bolted to the frame yet, and the engine is touching the firewall, like I said, 20 times. That's really bothering me. Not sure I'm going to deal with that, but let's see if I can get the carburetor on here and get this thing to light up with gasoline. That'd be something. Okay. Okay, so I got the carburetor on. Gonna put a little bit of gas in here. Try to do this one hand without making a mess. A little bit of gas in here. Now get in there. Get in there. Okay, so we got some gas in here. Let's try this. Set this down. Okay, there she goes. I'm one-handed here. Got my hand on the key switch. See if I can do this with one hand. Bingo! She runs. Holy oh crap. Well, I got a running engine. Well, I'm by no means out of the woods. She's a runner. And I mean, I don't even have, this isn't even tight yet. This is still flopping around. I don't even have any bolts. I lost the nuts on these studs there, so I'll have to go get some of them. If you watch my previous videos, this is the old carburetor that I had gotten off the junk engine. I had bought a junk engine for the intake manifold and the carb, so I took that into work, cleaned it all. Everything looked good inside, and looks like she's firing up pretty good. So that is success. So now I know I've got an engine that's going to run again. I've got my I got about 50% of my engine wiring done. I mean, I have a more modern style alternator that's going to go on here. I'm still all wired in old school with the voltage regulator external. So the power from my battery comes to here, then jumps around and goes to the ignition. So I don't know if I can I don't even know if I'll be able just to run through this. But for now, the engine's in the car, not really secured, but it does run. It runs on gasoline, and I'm pretty damn excited about that. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of a step back from this because I know I've got a running engine. I'm going to need a radiator. I'm going to need hoses. I'm going to figure out the rest of this electrical. But first and foremost, I think I might jump back inside because this is what's caused me the most grief so far. It's all this internal electrics, and the reason why it took me a day and a half to wire up this simple switch, it took me a day and a half to figure this out. It's because I was going by the Ford wiring diagram, and this is not a Ford part. This is an aftermarket thing that was in the car when I bought it. Two of the poles were reversed, so of course it wasn't working. Yesterday I had the headlights going, like I mentioned, but I went and broke the switch. The knob came right out. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a little bit of a list. I need some nuts for the carburetor mounting. I'm going to have to figure out a bracket for the coil, which I have in my inventory of junk. I have this. So I may try to rig this up, this old coil with bracket. I think this came with, I've got lots of everything here. Mostly all junk, but sometimes you just need that one little clip, or you need to have a look just to see, oh, okay, well, there's number one, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it doesn't hurt to hang on to all this crap. Now I said I do have a bracket, so I'll be able to figure something out. The transmission is still not yet secured to the cross member. And the issue I'm having is everything is so damn tight. Now I'm told that this is doable, and I'm determined to get this done, but it's almost like I need to lift the engine or bring it forward. I'd like to lift the engine and bring it forward, but if I do that, then the transmission mounts don't line up. I might take the transmission mount out and maybe try to modify it or shave it down a little bit so the engine, maybe all I would need is for the engine to tilt like this. So then maybe that would give me clearance at the firewall. And then I could put a couple shims up here to lift the front of the engine so that the starter is mere, I've showed that previously. The starter is mere millimeters away from one of the steering linkages underneath. So, I don't know. Maybe it's normal. I don't know. Maybe you go over a pothole and everything rips off. I don't know. But I need some nuts to mount this. I need to mount this coil. I need to secure this down. I mean, I still got lines and stuff. I still got a million things to do. But this is quite happy. I got myself a runner. And I'm hoping that the manifolds will fit in there. My gosh. It is really not. I mean, this is not a big engine. Yeah, I mean, I see guys put LS1s and 350s and 454s in tiny little cars. I don't know how they do it. This car came with a straight six, obviously. But this is pretty much the same platform. This is basically an early Mustang. And you could get a 289 back then. And the 289 is the same size as this, I'm told. So I'm hoping my automatic transmission is not going to be an issue. That's for later. I'll have to cut a hole because this would have been a column shift car, and I don't like column shifts. And the linkage is all buggered up anyway. So I'm going to cut a hole in here somewhere. And I've got a couple of, I've got a little floor shifter over here. I've got another one like this that came with my assortment of junk parts. So maybe between these two or something like that. So I think for now, what I'm going to do is I might piddle a little bit more with this electrical. Maybe tidy things up. I've ordered bulbs. I've ordered a flasher relay. I've ordered the switch for the high beam, low beam, because before I broke my light switch yesterday, I did have the lights working. But the floor switch was all jammed up. So a lot of this stuff I can get from Rock Auto, my favorite store, and it's actually dirt cheap. I was going to order the light switch from Eckler's, and it was about $40 at Eckler's, and it's like $13 at Rock Auto. And I know Rock Auto, it'll be here in 2 days, whereas Eckler's takes 2-3 weeks, if not more. So nothing against Eckler's. They've got great stuff. But Rock Auto, I mean, if you can get it at Rock Auto, in my opinion, you just cannot beat the prices. So I think I'm going to jump back into here, try to sort out a little bit of this electrical, what I can do today. I can't do that much because, like I said, my bulbs are on order. My 2 switches are on order. Maybe I could remount this somehow. It is not a Ford one, so the hole is too big, so I'd have to jerry-rig something. Actually, I'm not going to mount this because I'm going to want to be painting this dash anyway. So I'm going to piddle a little bit in here, maybe run out, get some more hardware, fasten that transmission, or maybe shimmy around with that transmission mount. I'm going to leave it here for now. P Street Garage. Thanks for watching. Anybody who's interested in this dirty old Comet, which I nicknamed the Banana. I love this car. It's probably going to take a couple years off my life, but going well-ish, I should say. I'm sorting through it. It's going to take time. I mean, it's never going to have a working radio. I don't think that old radio that'll just be in there for looks. It kind of looks good. I don't care anyway. I'm going to make work what I can. Stuff like the horn, I mean, that's going to be a can of worms. I might end up with a dash-mounted horn button. That's easy to do. De-rigging all this crap, I mean, I don't know. I'll probably try. I'll need a new steering wheel. But anyway, enough babbling. I'm going to sign off for now. More to come on this build. Okay.